All right, we back. Well, I'm back. Um, got Robert with us again.
What's
I
up, everybody?
I had the technical difficulties last week, but it's a tag team tonight. Me
Yep.
and Robert and Quincy, the source, whatever I'm calling myself these days. But should be a good show. Robert's always good for a good conversation,
I'm
and
always got my head in the news about something. Usually,
yeah.
it might not pertain to everybody, but there's always news going around.
And we were talking. I figured we might as well stop and save it for the recording. So we're just going to jump right into it. First thing I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to make sure we got on air with a fresh take, was X-Men 97. That dropped this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was earlier Wednesday or Thursday, I think, this week.
Okay, so I watched both of them today after work, and I have to say, this is This is one of Disney's better projects in the last couple of years. So I watched, but didn't watch the original series. I thought it was kind of slow. I didn't like the action sequences, and it just wasn't for me. But the animation for this was good.
Yeah.
The action was good, and some new stories here. They're kind of continuing what's already happened before. 2 episodes dropped this week. Good cliffhanger at the end of the second episode. It was good.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty great, too. I mean, it sort of picked up where the season, 5, I think, of the original anime came out. But I
it went
do.
that long?
I'm trying to remember because I did watch a catch up, summarized version of the whole thing, and I think it had a good ending at season 4, but Fox wanted to milk it another season, and then they put out one more, and it wasn't very good, and they cut animation budgets and everything. But yeah, the only thing I wish they would have explained is why Morph is back. Because I know I originally I thought he was dead, but then I forgot about that. I forgot that Mr. Sinister had brought him back, but then he kind of went on his own way because he was kind of ashamed of what he did while he was under his control. But he's just kind of there now, and he's fine. So okay, I guess he did his therapy. But yeah, the show's animation is really good. I think the action, like that sequence that I've seen all over his Cyclops landing with his optic blast, is just really good.
Yeah, it was. This is where the hate's going to come in. The Cyclops sequence, they were okay. Like, people were like, it was cool. It was all right.
Well, I think they did a good job of kind of establishing him as the leader.
They did.
He was always kind of reluctant. I think in the other series, even though they kind of made him, he was kind of corny, and it seemed like Wolverine was taking a lot of the lead roles. But yeah,
and Wolverine was punking him in the last series, and I don't know how many times. I remember he cut his car or his Jeep, and then he punched him. And I don't know if that's going to fly, but then Cyclops got beat up pretty bad by the Executioner in episode 2. Whatever, but he is coming across better than he did in the original series. The action sequence in the desert fighting the Sentinels was really good.
Yeah.
So I'll be following it. See how it works out. It's funny because as I was mentioning before, I've been watching the old X-Men movies, the Hugh Jackmans, the Wolverine movies, the Deadpool movies, the First Class movies, and I actually found myself. I think I enjoy the mutants on other forms of media besides comic books. That's probably because I don't have anything really invested in them. Like Wolverine Origins was probably the only poop stain. Even the 2 Phoenix movies compared to what Marvel's doing now, they were watchable.
Yeah.
So This is as mutant up as I'll get right now.
Did you ever watch? Stuff. Did you ever watch the New Mutants?
I purposely skipped over that. I was close. Like I wasn't watching any particular order, but it was the next movie suggested after Origins, and I was like, I want to watch this. So, out of all those mutant movies, as I was saying before, the Wolverine, the story in Japan is probably my. I feel it's underrated. One of my favorites. It was probably as simple as those movies got. It was just him out there with the giant silver samurai and all that other stuff. And good ending. Like it was a good story. I liked it.
Claws chopped off and
yeah. And then the if the TVA needed to step in, it was for the mutant timeline. It was all over, man. Like it was
It was a goddamn mess.
It was a mess.
Like, why is Charles still alive at the end of this?
He was alive, and then he didn't have his claws at the end of the Wolverine, and then in Days of Future Past, like he had the claws back, right? Like they're back, so maybe Magneto helped him or whatever. But it's just like it was all over.
Maybe I shouldn't be so surprised that Morph back, because this shit's just been happening nonstop with the X-Men.
Right, they're like consistently. What are you talking about? Like we're just putting out the cool stuff. So, it was. I didn't hate him as much as I thought I would. X-Men Apocalypse was the one that really surprised me. I was like, I'm gonna hate this. I remember hating it. But I did not. Apocalypse still looked goofy.
They could have made him a bit more menacing.
Right. Olivia Munn, and we were just talking about Jennifer Lawrence. Love Jennifer Lawrence, but in that series, like, it was an overexposure. And it really started the movie before with Days of Future Past, but by the time Apocalypse showed up, it was just,
Yeah. They were definitely a victim of making their popular actors the main characters, even though it doesn't make sense to the story.
Right. Exactly. I think if she was someone else, maybe she was Jean Grey or somebody, something more prominent, it would have went over. We've talked about that plenty of times on the show. Hugh Jackman's impact on the character and probably the roadmap for all those movies. He was damn near in all the movies at some point. I can't think of one he wasn't in.
He's run out of that Weapon X facility like 10 times.
Yes,
just running out in his booties with that big headset on.
Right. We've seen him escape a couple of times, and it was. I was never mad when I saw him. Put it that way. It was just like, okay, he's here. Ryan Reynolds with the Deadpool movies, I've really enjoyed. Like the humor was appropriate. Like I was laughing a lot, and the stories were good. They were good. So that's kind of amped up the excitement for the third one coming. We'll see if Disney nerfs it. Hopefully not.
Or if Ryan Reynolds was actually able to pull a fast one on them and slip through a bunch of stuff.
He's a quick one.
He already took a shot at him in the trailer.
Yeah, yes, he did. So definitely looking forward to that, and more of the X-Men '97. I hope it keeps up what they've established with these first two.
Yeah, I think they did a good job in those first two, reminding us of all the people that they used to fight, like the humans, Gyrick and what's his face, and Master Mold.
Yeah, I can't think of the other human's name.
I know, it's slipping my mind too.
Yeah,
it was not. It wasn't a different creed. It was Sabretooth's father, right?
The guy in the desert, right?
Oh God, I can't.
Gyrick was the guy who they said killed Xavier.
Right.
Well, y'all know who we talking about. You mutant fans know what we're talking about. Yeah, they did a good job. Magneto was he looked a little strange, the hair and everything, and but it was all right. He was
With the
cool
exposed
too.
shoulders.
Yeah, like the big old M pajamas, just like Magneto's pajamas. I've seen that outfit before, but I guess that's his good guy uniform. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you definitely recommend the X-Men '97. It's funny what a good story will do to the animation. It kind of looks similar to um, um, what was put out in I can't think of it now. What If, but it's different. It almost looked like the Capcom games, almost in some shots, especially in Cyclops, and maybe it's because he was in
Street
that
Fighter
game,
style. Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
But it was good. It was really good. Good. I have no complaints about X-Men since it's history in the making. Here, I have no complaints about the X-Men right now to today. So that's where we are.
So at the end of season 2, was that Cable that was born?
Yeah,
Nathaniel.
Right.
Okay.
So and then that clone showed up. Well, one of them was a clone. It's probably the one that was in there because.
Oh, Clone Gene. Yeah.
Right, because I see this is where we need Mike or Terrence here. Like
I don't remember an X-Men clone saga.
Yeah, it was Madeline Pryor, who one of them gave birth to clone. It wasn't actually Jean, so the one that's in the house might be the clone.
Okay.
Right now, like the Summers family tree is all over the place. So.
Yeah,
Mike,
between him and Havoc and all the other crap.
Right,
his dad
Havoc,
in space,
future kids, and different timelines and everything. So
okay.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to act like I know officially, but I know a little bit about a little bit when it comes to them. So, yeah. So check that out. And what else came back? Oh, Invincible. Invincible came back. Did we just talking about that? Like, Amazon is normally, I will say they're not someone to spare any expense for advertisement, and I feel like no one knew it came back. The first 4 episodes were kind of slow. The ones that dropped the middle of winter last year, but these last 2 were really, really good. It's jumping off the Viltrumites and Guardians of the Globe and people dying, and it's 2 more episodes after this. I think it was 8 episodes, so they're at 6 right now, I think. So that break is about to happen again. Invincible is reminding people it's one of the better shows, superhero shows, animated or live. Right now that's out.
Amazon's got 2 of them between that and The Boys.
Right. Yeah, and they're both adult oriented, but we've said that The Boys. Because of the writing, it would still be good without its graphic nature. And I know they kind of point to The Boys as like how it would be if heroes really were around. I really think it would be like Invincible, honestly, which I think it's an interesting universe. And I didn't read those books, but what I'm seeing in the cartoon, just the writing. Again, I always come back to that. If the writing's good, you can tolerate bad animation, bad art in the comic book. Like you're there, like, oh, this is, you don't even see it or notice it.
Yeah.
But if the story's bad, you notice everything.
It keeps you engaged. You don't notice all the bullshit because you're too busy, thinking about the story.
Yep. Did you watch it yet?
No, I haven't. I refrained from watching season 2 yet because I want to go back and start season 1 again with Ronnie because I want her to watch it too because I think she'd like it.
Okay. Yeah, I did the same thing in November. I watched 4, however many seasons of The Boys are out now. I watched all those, I believe, around Thanksgiving when I should have been working. I was watching them while I was working, and I watched Invincible. But yeah, Amazon's doing they got it going right now with their superhero, their corner of the market with superhero shows. So
if only they would show Lord of the Rings the same respect.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did read a little bit about the second season. It says it's going to be darker and da 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 da, which is good because there was the Rings of Power. That first season was
that was a show made by people who either actively hated J.R.R. Tolkien's vision or were completely apathetic to it.
It's like they weren't concentrating. Like we were all in these neighborhoods and the brightness and the sun, and it's like I didn't like the Hobbit movies all that much. I felt they took a day's worth of food and stretched it over a week.
Yep. That's exactly what they did.
But Lord of the Rings had had its moments of pleasantness, but it was like a darkness hanging over. And the Hobbit too, also I should say, like had that darkness in it, and like it was just not really present as strongly in those projects as it was in Rings of Power. And I'm interested in what happens before. The stories that we know are more familiar with, but I just couldn't do it. Maybe watching the second season will help me go back and watch the first. So.
Yeah.
What else we got here, Rob? We had trailers this week.
A lot of trailers this week, yeah.
You want to talk about Aliens? You want to talk about Aliens a little bit?
Yeah, Aliens Prometheus. I haven't really been following it, so I'm not sure if this is a third one in the Prometheus kind of, Prometheus and Alien Covenant and now Romulus. I don't know if it's that or if it's like a there was a well, this one doesn't have Sigourney Weaver in it, but there was a proposed them remaking number 3.
Okay.
But instead of Newt and Hicks dying, they would actually survive. Like in the original story, they wanted to have it. They wouldn't have, died in their pods or whatever. But I mean, from what we saw, it looks like it's gonna be more suspenseful horror. Alien running loose on a starship with lights out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the trailer was so dark, I couldn't even see it on my phone when I watched it at work. I was like, I can't see anything. I have my phone on max brightness right now. But when I got home, I was able to watch it. And it looks like it's going back to maybe its roots, kind of keeping it a little simple, not trying to, build up the mythos behind the aliens and then just have a straight up, horror movie. Yeah.
It's funny because somewhere along the line, Predators. Yeah, I was about to mention them. Aliens kind of took like a left turn. Like I'll give you, first one's a classic. Second one, I believe, and the majority will say that's a good movie. That was kind of like the beginning of the swerve. That's a good movie. But 3 after that, then you got the third one, which I didn't hate that one. Charles Dutton. Running around, cursing at everybody, and he's fucking fighting the alien, holding off the alien while she's climbing it. Like Charles Dutton was like the star of that movie. And then what was after that one? What was it?
Resurrection.
Okay.
Which is the pretty terrible one.
Yeah, so
I couldn't even tell. It almost felt like it was a parody of itself, honestly.
Yeah, the humanoid baby alien, and it was just.
And all the Ripley clones.
Right. I don't know, man. Like sometimes it's okay if the story ends, but with the theaters and studios, it's like we got to get the money, like put out another one. And then when it got to the Aliens versus Predator, and the aliens are just fucking running around like baby T-Rexes, and that was definitely, especially that first Aliens versus Predator when they're in the underground pyramid, like it was
they went.
It was
the
a
second
WWE
one was a little better.
Yeah, it was. It was
a little more grounded
better
in the second one, but yeah, that first one was out of control.
Yeah, and the Prometheus ones, I was just like, whatever that last AVP movie was, that was my stop. I got off there. Yeah. And I didn't watch Prometheus. What was it, 3 of them or 2?
There's two. Alien Prometheus, or it was just Prometheus, and then Alien Covenant. And Covenant is just I watched them. I don't like Covenant. I mean, everything looks good in it, but the story is just so bad. I mean, these are supposed to be like scientists, and they are just dumb as fuck.
Like, we need them to be dumb for the story to progress.
Yeah, exactly. The stupidest spacefaring humans ever. I really do like Prometheus, though. Especially when you add in some of the deleted scenes. I think they kind of went a little too heavy with the thematic tone, them trying to find God and their creators, and that kind of messaging going on. But I mean, come on, this is an alien movie, so that's not what we're here for.
So, was their origin exposed? Was it explained in those movies?
It's kind of, if I'm remembering correctly, they're called the engineers, the big, bodybuilding aliens.
The elephant.
For whatever reason, they had created the whatever the
xenomorphs.
They weren't technically xenomorphs yet. They created like the black. I guess a bioweapon of some sort, and they were going to take it to Earth to destroy us because they created us, and I don't know why they wanted to destroy us. But that was the what it was. But I think it was David, the android. His tinkering is what eventually changed it into becoming a xenomorph.
Okay. And why did he change it?
Because he wanted to play God too, I guess.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
They weren't too deep on it, and Okay. Either that or it went over my head because it was more than I could understand.
But we liked the trailer, right? Like, it seemed to get into those, especially the first one, into those tones, shadows and aliens jumping out from them and everything.
We want extreme close-ups, and we want no score, being nice and quiet,
scares and everything. Right.
Yep.
Okay, so like this will be the first Aliens movie I've seen since Requiem. Yeah. So this one I'm always interested, but I have to see like what else is going on with them, and if this makes money. Well. That's not true. Predator already came back. Was that 1 or 2 years ago with
Prey?
Yeah, which was pretty good.
I thought that was alright.
Yeah. Okay. Yay, aliens! You have our interests.
I'll always watch an alien movie, even if they are bad. I'll always watch them because I'm very intrigued by their design. I really like H.R. Giger and his art, and he's the one who designed the alien and everything.
Okay. All right. So what else we got here?
Talk about Acolyte.
Oh yeah. So Star Wars is like, it's such a scary proposition, right? While Disney, I'm just gonna say, I can say Disney. Disney is doing so far so good with X-Men. They are destroying everything else. And Star Wars is one of the casualties outside of Mandalorian. Now, Acolyte, we don't know who's directing, who's handling that right now. But
it's shoot, I knew it for a minute. I know it because they keep making jokes about it that she was Harvey Weinstein's right hand woman, basically. But I can't remember her name now.
Yeah. I was getting a lot of like samurai kung fu vibes from it. If it's on Disney Plus, I'm gonna watch it to
Leslie
you guys. So. Okay.
Yeah, that's just doing it. Yeah, I was just watching it, and if that whole scene of Kathleen Kennedy coming out with a shirt that said "The Force is female," that was what this trailer was. Because I was watching, I'm like, is everybody in this show a girl?
Oh man, yeah. So I one, I'm curious. Well, so this will be. This looks like this is during
the High Republic, right?
Yeah, and we needed Mike for the X-Men, and we needed Jay for this part. But it's kind of hard to nail down the timeline. I don't know. Like if it's on, I have to see the first episode. Try to take the temperature there and see what's going on. Jay had no confidence in it.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy to see it.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. Good or bad, somebody will get lightsabered and through the chest and they'll survive, and then they'll get turned into a robot. The usual in a Star Wars affair.
And Mike Jay was trying to defend that. I was so surprised at him, but whatever. And we can stay here with Disney because they've recently come out and they've axed a couple of movies. Which ones were they?
Bob Iger was talking about them, scaling back, working on quality over quantity, and they canceled what is it? Eternals 2, Captain Marvel 3, and Ant-Man 4. I don't know if those were actually announced.
That's what was curious. So Marvel's just like F it right now. Like the trilogies, like we're just gonna keep putting them out. Like Ant-Man 4. Like were we expecting an Ant-Man 4? Like,
I know. I mean, nobody liked number 3.
Yeah, and so me personally, like I loved it. Like we've been over this. Like Paul Rudd and Quincy were buddies, and I'll watch Ant-Man. I'll watch the second one. I thought the second one was cool. But the third one was so, like, I think the cast was so
out
big.
Of his element.
Yeah. It was him and somebody else, and it was too much.
Yeah, I don't think these tertiary characters can handle a movie of the scale like that. No. That's one of the ones where he should have been, like you said, in a team with some of his other, Avengers.
Yeah, and it's this is like Marvel's like plan. It seems like for some of these movies, the hero, he has his support team. I don't know who came up with this first. If this was a Team Arrow thing or because CW definitely used the hero and his support tech team, and I can't even think who had this first. Like Tony had Pepper. He just had Pepper, and he had Happy. I guess you can say that, Jarvis, and Rhodes. So that was his team.
Yeah.
I guess everybody kind of had their team, but it was just too big. Like Michelle Pfeiffer, I didn't need Michelle Pfeiffer. Didn't need Bill Murray.
We didn't need his daughter being a freaking genius for whatever reason.
We just didn't need it. Like it was, Jonathan Majors. I liked the anticipation to see the excitement about him in his role. Like I thought it was okay, and again, like it just didn't make sense that he was going to be the big bad, but he lost to Ant-Man.
After losing to Loki and losing to who else first?
It's just we're not gonna go too deep in this because we've covered this before, but it's just Marvel like a good like continuous story. Like normally, and you've read comic books too, Robert, and usually after a big event, there's some kind of repercussion that leads to the next event. That's how you get a cohesive type, cohesion. Yeah, just that period. In this, as an example, you remember Sinestro War. After that, the War of the Light, and that led to
the Darkest
all the way
Night,
right.
Yep.
Every
War of the Lanterns. Yep, everything
right.
was a step
every
up
victory. Led to and Marvel could do that, and like it wouldn't have been hard. You did a lot of time travel and Infinity Endgame, excuse me, and you want to do multiverses and time travel, all this other stuff. It would have just been a continuation from, but you didn't. We're not going into this, but that's just me. I thought that was like a layup. But yeah, like Eternals 2 is interesting, right? Because to me, I didn't think Eternals should have been a movie. I think it
should have
would
been a series.
Yeah, nice little Disney Plus series you can release around the holidays.
Too many characters to introduce in one movie.
Too many characters. And when they started dying in the movie, I was happy because like, oh, we get to concentrate on less people. Now we're left with that big old cliffhanger at the end of that.
Because that would have been the movie for them to finally address Celestials sticking out of the ocean.
Right.
That goes exactly to your point, though, is them not dealing with the repercussions. I mean, they barely mentioned, the half of the population of the Earth coming back after 5 years. That would cause complete chaos all over the world.
Yeah, I see. I almost think they milked that for too long. So what? So what was the one with Spider-Man came back? The second one, Far From Home dealt with it, right? In the beginning, they mentioned that
because of school,
right?
He had to repeat or whatever.
Right. I felt like a couple. Maybe you're right. I feel like someone else, like 2 other shows, mentioned it.
WandaVision.
Eternals had they mentioned that too. I'm drawing a blank here, man. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like
kind of addressed it a little bit in WandaVision with Rambeau.
Okay, that's right.
She got blipped back, yeah.
Right.
And I think I
feel like it was a show. Oh, Winter Soldier and Falcon. They like part of that. They mentioned that because he was one of the ones that got blipped. And the countries, they were talking about no borders anymore, and
right.
So that it was in there. I felt like there was another show. I just felt like I was just done. Like okay, guys, I understand. Wait, Doctor Strange also, and Multitude of Madness because he was one that got blipped too. So yeah. What were we talking about? Are we talking about the blip? The show's getting axed. Eternals was just shocking to me. They'll need Ant-Man. The Marvels, I know they were a group that hated, that those movies. I actually thought the second one was better than the first one, but the second one was okay. I think
it was all right. It was serviceable.
I didn't hate it. No, I didn't hate it. And as much as that sounds like a compliment, it isn't. It's like, it was cool. I'm not looking for it. My wife enjoyed it. I'm
not going to watch it again.
Right. I'm not actively seeking
I'm not buying the Blu-ray.
Right. So, they need to just stick to, what they've been doing, honestly. Like, a couple characters get the trilogy. Everybody doesn't need one. You introduce characters from the right characters.
Now that they're established with whatever storylines they have, they can just freely cross over if they need to,
Right, and you guys really, really aren't hard up for characters, guys. I need y'all to don't look at the cartoons. I need y'all to crack open some books and take a look. And we're talking about Eternals and that cliffhanger. So Blade was supposed to have been the one that was talking to Dane when he was, with the sword. Now there was more delays with.
I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, there's more delays with this, and somebody pointed out that was 5 years ago when this was announced. So to make it sound
Blade
even
was announced
longer,
before the Eternals, wasn't he?
Right. Let's look it up. Well, let's get the code.
And what was the recent thing that happened? His director got left.
Somebody
or one of the
walked
writers
away.
left?
Yeah, somebody. somebody walked, and I can't remember. I can't find an exact date here, but everything we know about Marvel's Blade in December. No, that's not it. Anyway, it's been a while, and they've had multiple delays. And I think you commented like this movie is not going to happen.
It's never coming out.
Yeah, I when this was announced, it was bizarre to me. So here's one of the bizarre things. Wesley Snipes wasn't involved. Marvel, whenever they usually Marvel or DC, whenever like a character that's been played before, they kind of work with the whoever was doing the character before. Like Linda, what's her name? What's her last name? That did Wonder Woman. Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, yeah.
She was in one. They brought back Spider-Man, all of them, but you couldn't bring back Wesley in any capacity.
Brought back movie. Michael Keaton's Batman. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, another good example. I think it was not a good look to not have the original Daywalker. One of the people who put out, these edgy superhero movies and made money off of it. Blade was a hit.
Yeah, you're right. 2019 is when it was announced originally. 5 years.
So, half a decade. Half a decade. So, the other thing was that Blade does not catch vampires. He kills them, sometimes horribly, and I was curious, like, Disney, you're gonna do this, huh? Like, okay, like I'm for it.
I mean, if they keep it like they did in the originals, where they just turned it into fire and bones, that's you can get away with that because it's not all blood and gore.
You can get away with that, but what about how the vampires live with the blood?
Yeah, exactly. There's gonna be blood.
People are talking. Somebody I was talking to mentioned what was that horror thing that MCU had? Was it last year?
Oh, the
black and white thing.
Yeah, what the hell was that called?
Exactly. I say, but to my point, this thing was forgettable. It was like, oh, Marvel's first horror. Like, oh my god, this is a snooze fest. This is like this is something to help me go to sleep. All right, like that's. Like, I thought it was. I didn't think it was good.
Sorry, I fell asleep during it.
Yeah, so Blade, I thought it was a nice, ambitious
Werewolf
goal.
by Night. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah, Quincy sleep before night watching that. Like it was, this wasn't interesting. But getting back to Blade, it just, I was curious, and delays. At some point, you're just gonna say, "F it!" Like, the actor, like I'm like, just get somebody else at this point.
Yeah, Mahershala is not going to be able to do it.
Right. He's going to be as old as Wesley
CG all of his action sequences.
Right. So Marvel, good luck. It seems like they really want to do it. Like that should have been announced with some of the other cuts.
What do we think about some of their TV shows that they've announced a long time ago and we haven't heard from? Because there's rumors that some of those are going to be cut too.
Which one?
When was the last time we heard any news about Vision Quest?
Oh God! Oh yeah! It's funny. I just saw something about that recently, but I didn't read it because I didn't care. Didn't care anymore.
Was it Vision Quest and it was Armor Wars?
Armor Wars is that? I know it's a movie now, but is that still happening? That is not.
I don't know.
So it's in limbo.
Same as Ironheart.
That can go. I think that one was mentioned. Wait, Ironheart and something else was mentioned, but that can go away too. Nobody walked away from Black Panther wanting more of that. Thought it was curious that she was introduced in that sector, that part of the universe. And
such a bad introduction, too.
Right.
How does somebody make a vibranium detector without actually having vibranium to use?
Listen, I don't know how you have a Black Panther movie without Black Panther, and don't nobody get technical with me and say it's a title or whatever without T'Challa. How about that? I don't understand not recasting, but yeah, there was another show. It's funny you mentioned show. I watched Daredevil. Go watch a couple episodes of that last week. It was just,
it just hits differently, doesn't it?
It does, and I was mentioning this every time I mention Netflix shows. Like New York was like the other star in these movies. The
really
green, the green screen. It's just enough. I just hate seeing it now.
The volume is definitely overused.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to Luke Cage. That first season, we disagree with Cottonmouth dying and some choices that were made, but I love that first season.
Yeah,
all the Ronnie first seasons.
Just watched it.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
all those first seasons were really good, except for Iron Fist, whose second season was better than its first season. But
and his crossover episode with Luke and Luke season 2 was really good too.
Yeah, it was good too. It took a whole season for them to get him right. Well, that and the Defender series, which was a wreck. But if Marvel wants to do the rated R action adult thing, and they said Echo was going to do it, but I didn't really see I didn't see the edge there, but
none to the same. I mean, how many sex scenes did we get between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage? I mean,
they had a couple porn scenes, but keep it to the streets. I let that be the divider. I mean, there'll always be some exceptions to where the violence applies to the character, but just have that be the divider there. This is a suggestion. I don't know what I'm talking about, but the Netflix shows were really good. The second, I think Daredevil was good from start to beginning. There were questionable choices made on the other ones after the first season, but no one really hates. They hate Iron Fist, and people don't even mention the Defenders really in the hate, but. I think overall it was received very well. And again, towards the end, after they announced it, they weren't moving forward with it. People just lost interest.
Yeah,
that's what happened with me.
That's what happens. I mean, it gets to the point where you need to realize that we are your paying customers. We're not just here to see what you like. We want to see what we like too.
Yeah,
and if you're putting out stuff that we don't like, we're not going to buy it. No, and you can't get mad at us for it.
And Marvel has, I'm in 100 groups. My Facebook algorithm is totally in touch with me. They give me all these comic book groups to look at, and I'm everything. I was
everywhere.
Right. So I joined it to bring it to the page, but. I mentioned that to say that I think their benefit of the doubt has run out. I don't really see the defense for their movies like it was, let's say 3 years ago. There's something going on. There is an opportunity for DC Gunn to do some good things. Hopefully, Warner Brothers doesn't cut the legs out from under him. People. When you're constantly putting out movies that are all basically the same, people are gonna get tired of them. It's just.
There's just so many stupid decisions coming out of Warner Brothers. I don't even understand.
Yeah, it's they got to get out of the way and be patient. Snyder, I think Gunn is better than Snyder overall. I think Snyder definitely has his strengths. I think he was on to something with what he was doing. There's definitely a place for those type of movies where it's not all jokes and silly humor. It's high stakes.
He just needs to give us his future, his dystopian future movie, just to round out his whole vision.
Yeah, I wish they would have let him finish out Justice League and just let him go off, because nobody would be complaining. They would have those movies, and that was a sweet spot for Disney from for DC from Man of Steel to, I would say, that first Justice League movie. We had Wonder Woman. I think Aquaman was in there either before or after. It was after that Justice League movie.
Yeah.
But they had a nice little sweet spot there, and then when Snyder was gone, like it was hit or miss.
Yeah. It was either they were trying to get away from his vision altogether, or they were trying to recreate it, and they just couldn't.
They're trying to make Marvel movies.
Yeah,
that's like we buy certain comics for their tone and what they're about, and all the movies at one point were all the same. And if you've seen these movies, you know exactly what we're talking about. Like there were no options, and that's boring, and it's playing it safe and it's lazy.
Yeah.
So off of that, good decision by Disney to cut back on putting crap out. To concentrate on what.
Kind of weird that we have to tell them that, right?
All this time, I mean, at some point, somebody's banker, an accountant came through, was just like, "Listen, guys, these things are losing a lot of money. You gotta chill. You gotta chill."
It's their bad movies, and just the garbage that Sony puts out is really weighing in on the confidence of your audience as well.
That definitely.
I mean, even the stars thought that were going to be an MCU movie. Imagine all the other people who think, "Well, where does this fit in with the Avengers and Spider-Man?"
They just lie. Apparently, like they lie in the trailers, and they're lying to actors. And that I saw that was already it's on demand. Yeah. Sorry, you can't even get. You won't even get that from me. You won't get that from me. So Sony just needs to hang it up. Y'all had a good run. Y'all really did. But just give it back. Just give it back to the Marvel.
Venom gave him too much confidence.
Yeah, it's one of those happy accidents, you know? It's like, this did work. And is that the only one? Their only Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man? I know we still got Kraven on deck, I think.
We have Kraven. We have a third. Venom.
Oh, yeah.
And then Madam Web, I think that's it. And then whatever they're going to do with Venom in the MCU, since his symbiote's over there now.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. I bet you they did, too.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Saying that a lot tonight. All right, what else we got here?
I mean, we can talk about something good from Marvel. We can bring up the tech demo for Marvel 1943, The Rise of Hydra.
You can go ahead and I only saw that trailer, but it sounds like you have a little bit more information.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I had it. It's from what they showed. It was at the GDC, one of the game shows that's going on. So they were showing off the some of the power, especially in facial animation for Unreal Engine 5, and they used this game, and it was an altercation basically between Captain America and T'Chaka for him having a vibranium shield which is, Wakandan property, essentially. And it was kind of getting a good praise because the system uses AI in like a proper manner. They use it as like a tool. It's not just there to do everything for you. It's there to clean up certain facial animations. And that it kind of reminded me of when Mass Effect Andromeda came out. They tried to do that with AI, and it made the facial expressions all wonky because they didn't give it enough time to do it properly. But this one looks really good. It's by, I think, Sundance Studio is the one that's doing it. I'm not exactly sure what they've done before. Sundance Media.
Did they do
Skydance. Sorry, Skydance Media.
Did they do that Midnight Sun game for them?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'll look the Midnight Sun.
It's not a one I'm. It looks like they did some of the Walking Dead games.
You said Sundance?
Yeah.
And let me get a closer look.
Sundance Interactive, Sundance Media, all part of the same thing. But yeah, this, I always like a game where you can beat up Nazis, and why not do it as T'Chaka and Captain America,
True. Gotta remind
looks really good. It's taking complete advantage of the new systems.
I was getting that those old arcade Mortal Kombat, almost pit fighter type impression when I was looking at it, and I'll wait to see how that works out. I don't know the last superhero game I bought. Man, if it hadn't been Batman, probably Batman, but the animation was really strong, and that's crazy.
You played the Spider-Man games, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's crazy. We're two times in the night. We're talking about how well Marvel has done something and turned.
And Disney. It's by Amy Hennig, and she's the one who did the Uncharted games, and you know how well those were for their sequences. So I think it's in good hands. Again, they're just showing off what they can do. It doesn't really let us know story or what the game's actually going to be. It's going to be a single player game that comes out next year, but that's about all we know.
Okay. Okay. Well, so that means we'll get more later, that's fine. They gave
probably.
us just enough.
I would imagine during the Summer Games Fest. I bet you we'll get some more information.
Just in time for the holidays, maybe.
Yeah, towards the end of the summer.
Okay, yeah, that definitely caught my eye there when you posted that, so that's good. What else we got? Let's take a look. Oh, House of Dragons trailer. Now, I know you did not. Did you watch the original series?
I never watched Game of Thrones. No.
Okay. So, the House of Dragons. I think that was 2 or 3 years ago. It was really good. I liked it, and the second season is starting in June. 2 trailers dropped, the black and green trailers, which are slightly different, but the green is for one side and the black is for the other. I don't even remember now.
Okay. I was going to ask if that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So, they gave us a little bit from the trailers. Not enough to spoil anything, but I'm looking forward to that. Not as heartbreaking yet as the original series, but it was very good. And so I'm looking forward to that. There was a lot of good stuff that came out this week. And yeah. Okay. The another post from Robert, Shang-Chi 2 reportedly to feature time travel and an iron fist.
I would imagine it's going to the past. Hopefully we're not going to see Finn Jones and his iron fist, but
so
I don't know how he exactly, unless his bangles are something else, or they explain a little bit more what they are.
Marvel, I think it's hard to trust them with this much. This is very wide time travel in Iron Fist. That, to me, that's a lot for bad writers. We're still doing time travel. You know, we all the way from Endgame was 2019. That was pre-pandemic, and this is 5 years later, and we're still doing time travel. And was there any time? There was time travel in Miss Marvel. I think you've milked that enough. But talking about Disney here, I think Shang-Chi is the Iron Fist now in comics, so they might be aiming for that too, and just to maintain that setting that they had when he was in the village training from the first one. I hope it's good. Yeah, I hope it's good. It's that first movie seems so long ago now, and they kind of gotta live up to that. They set a good standard in the first one. Did you like the first Shang-Chi?
I did. I mean, It kind of fell off a little bit when they started fighting a giant dragon at the end.
At the end, yeah.
You know, it was good up and...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it was good up until then. Even when he was fighting his father, right before they broke down that barrier. Yeah, I don't think we needed the two dragon fight. That was just a little unnecessary.
A little Game of Thrones-ish there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think, if memory serves me, like that's like a B+ movie for me. Like they had the guy, they had fake Mandarin in there for comic relief. So of course that made me happy.
He's coming back for something, isn't he?
Oh, God. I don't know, but I'm wishing Shang-Chi well. That ended with the Bengals sending a signal into space, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Which I thought would have been tied up in the Marvels, but they never mentioned anything about that.
Or Eternals,
or Ms. Marvel, or
yeah,
Eternals.
So somehow that
maybe his Bengals will be time travel devices, and then he'll become the Iron Fist, and that will be a more justifiable way for him to have abilities.
And that's in space. So people, you guys set up, some of the more interesting things that happened in Phase 4 were some of the cliffhangers, and they're still hanging off the cliff if they haven't fallen already.
Stallone's just hanging there, like, come on,
yeah, pick it up. A show didn't even pick it up, which would have been nice.
Nothing. I honestly think they've forgotten about their end credit scenes that they've done in the last 6 or 7 projects.
Yeah, so we'll count the Vision as an after credit scene, or a loose thread. We'll put it like that. Yeah. So that's out there. The celestial continent is out there. The celestial that appeared in the sky, that's going to just be out there. And what it was, Shang-Chi, that's out there. Who knows when they come back to? It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Just interesting stuff too. Like, Celestials and Marvel. That's a big deal. Fourth host and all that good stuff. And who knows what's going to happen now?
And now it's been years, and we haven't heard anything from any of them.
So wait, so Shang-Chi is going to be time travel, and Fantastic Four might be time travel. I think you guys. I think
it might be. They are taking place in the past. I'm just trying to remember if they're going to be either are they time traveling or are they a Fantastic Four from another universe that comes over into our time. It's not technically timed. I don't know.
So Barry Allen officially is not the ultimate fucker of timeline. It's the MCU. I don't know why you wouldn't make Fantastic Four current. There's no super teams right now. The Avengers are I don't know. It's been like a phase in a quarter, and I haven't seen an Avengers team.
I mean, they're kind of behind the scenes putting together Young Avengers.
Ugh, what a nightmare. Can't wait for that to happen. A friend of mine, this is one of the debates that we have. I told her it'll never happen. Like Young Avengers was just done to create a moment. It's not going anywhere. I would
like the A-Team in Endgame, yeah, just a moment,
it's just homage. A moment. That might have been the first crack in the foundation. Now that I look back at that, that whole squeamish scene, and but I didn't think they were going to make it. I don't know. Like, are you really going to? Would you go see a Young Avengers with? I don't.
Nope.
See now where it should just be like a team up, like because you can have Young Widow, you can have Miss Marvel, you can have Hawkeye. Yeah, 3 of them. Mm-hmm. But they want to fill out the team. I don't know how you're going to package that. Who's going to teach them? Who are they going to recruit?
Yeah. Well, I made a mention before is when the Young Avengers started in the comics, their origin is almost exactly the same as Young Justice. Okay. Where a bunch of sidekicks got together, mm-hmm. and then they found an old decommissioned robot, Red Tornado, in the Young Justice, but in the Young Avengers, it was White Vision.
Okay.
So I mean, they're going that route. I mean, they have everything they need to do it. It's just, are they going to?
Absurd. Okay.
Nobody's getting younger, you know.
Nobody is like the Hawkeye chick. She was kind of old. No, I'm using air quotes to be a young Avenger. So she's got to be like 25, maybe right now. Maybe.
She'll be the oldest person on the team.
And Black Widow's sister, she's doing sex scenes in what's the movie about the bomb and everything? Oppenheimer. Yeah. So like, you guys are making sure all the shit comes out, but you aren't getting the roles and the movies ready for like the actors that might be able to pull off the story a little better. And you're gonna lose interest.
They did too much, and I don't know how to rein it in with a cohesive story.
I tell you, like the one thing that could help a little. It's going to sound a little crazy. Maybe an Avengers movie. Like just to, establish the team again. Maybe, you guys have had the rights for the mutants for a couple of years now. Fantastic Four. I don't know, man. They should have got some of their best writers outside the building to try to come up with a way to incorporate those teams, those elements into the MCU, which is really Avengers driven right now. I know I'm the Avengers guy, but it's a big universe.
Yeah, I mean the MCU didn't even really kick off full force until the first Avengers movie came out, and now where are they? What are they doing with them? They haven't even hinted that they're establishing a new version of it. Everybody's just scattered.
Yeah, and even before the Avengers were kind of formed, there was S.H.I.E.L.D. there. So it was like a big void. Who's watching the planet right now?
Was it Sword?
Well, which Sword? The one that was after Wanda and was looking for the Vision?
Or is it? No, it's Saber. Isn't it Saber now?
I don't know.
But the one up with
Fury.
Poor Nick Fury.
It wasn't enough planning because that sword, and not this, shooting astronauts into space type. They just do it for moments, man. Like I swear, they just do it for moments. So it's Sword and Saber and what's the cleanup crew that they turned into law enforcement on Miss Marvel? Damage Control.
Yeah, they're the bad guys now. Going after minority groups.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Somebody get the Bible out, and I'm not talking about the religious aspect, but the book that contains all the information and, references. And, I remember seeing a deleted scene, and it was either Infinity War. It was Infinity War. where all the directors from the previous movies came together and they offered up information to the Russos, and like it was just like a whole collaborative effort. And now everybody's just doing their own thing, shooting from the hip, and
I do not understand how the MCU has gone on this long without having a show Bible. You know, I mean, you can buy the Star Trek show Bibles, and they have all the things that you can't do, and all the things you can do, and all the continuity that's established that you work upon. Mm-hmm. How are they even doing this without one of those?
You know what, Robert? It's at a point now where I think the original plan was for it to end after Endgame.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, there's no plan. Like, everybody's like, oh, their plan was to introduce new characters. Guess what? They did that in the first 3 phases, and they still progressed the story. So, like, I need you to give me I need you to tell me what the plan is. Because it's not that. It's not that. So,
do we know when is D23? Do you know? Or is that separate from Marvel doing their big announcements on stage?
I don't know. That's like a Megan Tasha question. I don't know.
I wonder if we'll get a DC fandom this year also.
It would be nice if they came with something, and at the same time, it sounds like Gunn is taking his time, which is good. You know, they over the last couple of castings, they casted Supergirl, and I thought it was someone else.
Supergirl, they cast Lex. Well, they got most of the Superman cast done. They have Guy Gardner and Metamorpho.
Yes,
Mr. Terrific.
Right.
Somebody from the Authority. I can't remember what their name is.
Okay. Yeah, so he can take his time with this. I think the only thing on deck this year is Deadpool.
For Marvel, yeah.
And there's nothing from DC. So,
yeah, it's Deadpool and then Kraven and Venom.
Deadpool's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah. It's basically got no competition.
Right. It's a proven piece of property, and like you said, it's coming out with no competition. So, I'm looking
proven property, and they're bringing back, Hugh. So
it's honestly 2 comebacks there, because Deadpool is something I didn't think would happen in Marvel, and then Hugh was like, "I'm done. I'm done," and then he's back, and we're just talking about the X-Men, and despite what you think of the X-Men movies, Hugh Jackman never let you down in any of those movies. So the actor, he showed up. I was telling somebody, like, if you watch the first one and then the Wolverine, like, he physically, like, transformed, got ready for this role. He was about as, I don't know, skinny as the regular skinny guy, and now, he's like
huge, huge jacked man.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, so he definitely dedicated himself to the role, and it'd be good to see what he does after this. Honestly, I mean, he's not really a young man anymore, so I'd be curious to see how that goes.
It's not something that his body can keep up doing at his age.
Right. So, hopefully that goes well. I know Ryan is trying to avoid making any more stinkers. Trying to avoid that.
Now, are we going to get another Red Notice, right?
Yes. Jesus. As soon as yeah, you're right. All right, what else we got going? I think we're coming.
I finished season 2 of Halo.
And what did you think of it?
It's same vibe as the first one. If you didn't like season 1, you're probably not going to like season 2. But in my opinion, I think it does more of the good stuff better, and there's less of the bad stuff. But I mean, it's still in there and it's still annoying. But I think they balanced it out better. The action sequences were definitely better, and they brought the story basically to the beginning of the first game, right when you're on the Halo.
Okay.
The very last episode, they introduced the Flood, or at least the concept of the Flood.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not too disappointed. I actually found myself wanting to watch it when the episodes came out. Not just catch it at the end. I was like, "Ooh, it's Halo Day. I want to watch it."
Okay. Now, you mentioned one shooter. I'm going to ask you again about Helldivers. How's that going for you?
Going well.
Still doing good.
I had my coworker on the other day because he bought it and we were playing around with him. Me and Tim Carter, we were both maxed out. Maximum level. We have all of our stuff unlocked. It's still fun though. I mean, it's more just getting caught up in the hilarity of accidentally killing your friends because you got overwhelmed and you dropped your stratagem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's fun. It hasn't lost its luster yet. I have started to. I did pick up Elden Ring again because I think it's June or July the DLC comes out, and it's a pretty substantial one. And the character I played on that one got to like New Game plus 5, and I don't want to start a DLC in a difficulty that hard, so I'm going to start a new character.
Okay. Now, I did pick up Destiny again. I was Destiny. If any Destiny fans are on here, aware of the competitive playlist, and I've been trying since November, climb up the platinum level, and it was like a journey. I was doing it to get a seal. I play PvP a lot in Destiny, and the only thing I needed to do was get that. But I got the seal. I'll never do competitive playlists again. That was a battle. I consider myself good in PvP, and I had to switch strategies a couple times to get progress. Losses will take points from you. Wins and your performance in the wins affects how many points you advance. But
how bad is the cheating on Destiny?
It's not really bad.
No,
they've been cracking down on people. It's not necessarily in the examples that I see that are reported are PvE exploits. Crucible, no. It's not something that runs rampant. Like you see people lag switching sometimes. But it's not bad. Like
it's pretty bad on the Division right now in the Dark Zone and in Conflict.
Okay, what's happening in there?
It's a lot of aimbots, a lot of people sniping through buildings and hitting you. Yeah, a lot of really, and people are like boldly posting it online too. I'm like, you're gonna get your account banned. Are you an idiot?
Yeah, Destiny, like Bungie. I do remember hearing about the aim assist thing. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. They banned a couple people when they picked up
the Cronus Max thing.
Right? Yeah, I think that's what it was. And like you're gone. Like rarely do people win those appeals, but
yeah, I mean that's violation of terms of service. You're automatically done when you do stuff like that,
Right. So no, it's never been a point in Destiny where I was like, well, let me take that back. People do cheat, but it hasn't like driven me off the game. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing, because I play Call of Duty a lot, and you're aware of camping the spawn. Like that's not really an issue with Destiny. They'll actually prevent you from spawning in to find the right spawn point for you.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Dynamic spawns or whatever.
Yeah, Call of Duty. It was one board, I think Ski Lodge or something. I used to leave that board every time because one side, if you're spawning in there, they're just waiting for you. And as soon as you come in, you're dead. As soon as you come in, you're dead. So, no. So, the long answer to your question, like, no. Are you reading anything right now?
No, I haven't gotten around to reading anything right now.
I have a lot of...
haven't had time.
Okay. I haven't either. The one thing that I make sure I gotta check, actually check before I get off. Transformers is really good. It's really, really good.
I've seen the posts that you've done on them. They look pretty good.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Frankie, he's been he doesn't really read the majors. He's kind of on what Jay is on right now, but he's reading the Energon universe is what they're calling it. He recommended Cobra Commander and the G.I. Joe titles. But with the Transformers, one notable absence is Megatron. He hasn't shown up yet. It's about 6 issues. But his arm cannon has made an appearance. Like,
no.
Prime...
Is that the black...
yeah,
the black hole shooting one?
Yeah. Prime lost an arm in a fight with humans, I think. Was burned and it was peeled off. Something crazy, but the repairs, was it Ratchet? I think it was Ratchet. It was Ratchet. They're like, you can use this, and they opened up his trailer. They didn't show you what it looked like, but the next time you saw Prime, he had Megatron's arm up the cannon. And they showed that at the end of one of the books, Megatron frozen in ice. And talking to my friend Frank, he mentioned that Megatron crashed in Cobra La. And that's, those of you familiar, watch the G.I. Joe movie, that's like the native land of where Cobra comes out of. And they're actually using his energy to produce things that they need. So they're like draining him right now. So Megatron's a prisoner of Cobra right now. But this last issue, the art's really good. I want to say that the story right now, you get a little G1 characters mixed in with some that showed up after the movie, like RC's in there, but she doesn't have like the futuristic car look. She looks like a regular car, pink Corvette or something, a Ferrari maybe. Devastator made his first appearance, and you got the sense of how terrifying he is. He almost killed Prime. It's just really, really, really good. They finally took the arc back from the Decepticons who were in there. Starscream's it's like a terror. He's after every human that comes across his path and squish them or step on them or whatever. He's the Starscream that you know. But so if you haven't read it yet, like please check that out. I did read Batman, the last two issues. So people are kind of mad at the writers right now. So this was a couple of weeks ago I read it, but so Batman's on this alternate personality thing. And apparently the Joker also has this training to separate his mind because the person who taught Bruce how to do it taught Joker how to do it. Well, we didn't know all these years. Nice little retcon there. And it was, I don't know what to think about it. It was interesting. It wasn't terrible. It was interesting. And I think the conclusion to this is out next because that failsafe is out running around in the streets looking like Batman. He's got like this. Jeez. He's got like this big like machine like hollow screen but with Bruce's face, he's telling everybody, "Oh, it's me. Like my body was destroyed. I just transferred my consciousness to this robot." And so they're like, "You're not Bruce Wayne," and they're like, he's talking to Damian, and the others they don't know if it's true or not because it sounds like something he would do. So they're like, "I don't know if it's him or not," and they're like, "It's not him." I'm ready for this fail-safe thing to be over. It's been almost 2 years now, I think.
I was gonna say I thought it was already over.
It was over, and we don't know why fail-safe. So they were outside the Fortress of Solitude when he killed Batman. They shot him with something to try to reprogram him, and it failed. He left, and he went into the Fortress of Solitude, and then he came out and shot Batman with his gun from out of Superman's
his arsenal.
Right. And they thought it killed him, but he sent him through the multiverse. He's in another Gotham, another universe or whatever, and he eventually got back.
What is it with Batman getting shot through time?
It's just
in space.
We gotta create the drama that he's he is human. But yeah, I didn't think about that. That would be like his second trip going through time there. In realities, but I want to see where that goes. I know I have a couple of issues of Thor I need to catch up on, and Avengers look like they have a new artist, so I might go back to that one because the art I've been seeing in the stories, this isn't enough. Not for me. Yeah.
I need to look up. I need to. Because I want to watch I want to read the Justice League versus Godzilla Kong thing that was going on. I know that's I think Batman just brought out like a Godzilla fighting armor or some shit.
Nice.
I do want to catch up on that, but I need to research and see what other events are going on right now in DC because I haven't really been hearing too much.
No, me neither. I know Marvel.
It's been pretty quiet.
It has. I'm waiting for the Justice League title to come back if it hasn't already. I know Marvel is gearing up for this vampire crossover. I forgot what it was called. Either started or was about to start. But nothing from DC, which that is strange now that you mention it.
Yeah, whatever happened to what was that thing? Was it the Dark Multiverse or Crisis in the Dark Multiverse or Dark Crisis or something?
The Dark Crisis. Yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown.
Just nothing really came out of it, really.
The main thing that came out is that the Justice League broke up, and the Titans are kind of like in the forefront right now.
Okay. But
with that, they were making it seem like one thing had happened and it didn't, and I can't even explain it. But it was a little bit of a letdown. The lead up was good. DC's lead ups are always good. Like, let me just say that, especially with Crisis, they're always good, get you interested. But the actual Crisis itself, the
last couple haven't been that great.
No, they haven't. Like Identity Crisis and the second Crisis,
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, like those were good. Like that other one, Final Crisis, one with Darkseid.
Final Crisis, that was a little.
It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. There's so much going on in that thing.
Yeah, they had people all over the place.
All over. Like, I don't even think Superman was. That's right. He was fighting that robot. Superman robot. Oh, he was the Superman
fighting
robot.
Giant vampire. Yeah.
Him right.
And yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, but that was like the main thing. The Justice League was quote unquote dead. And when they came back, they took the break, or they broke up, and it's just the Titans right now. So that's where we are. Let's see. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, everything for now. I mean, most of us are going to try to check out Ghostbusters this weekend.
Yes.
And hopefully maybe Godzilla before next week.
Yes, Godzilla.
So I know that'll be out on Thursday.
Yeah. And Godzilla, like I did try, I was watching, not even trying, I did finish that. Godzilla versus Kong. I love those movies, and I think you're a fan too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check that one out. Godzilla and Kong are doing everything but high five each other in these trailers.
All they need to do is just hand them a basketball, and that's basically what's going on.
Right. So I was looking. I was watching the one that came out a couple of years ago, and even their fights is like an imaginary bell had rung. Like every time they won, it was just like, okay, like you can get up now, man.
Oh, was that the buzzer? All right, going back to my corner.
Right. And even when Godzilla left Kong, he looked at each other, he just gave him the what's up, and then he just left, and it was just like it was over. Like I guess they just got tired of fighting each other, and I still didn't hate the movie. I love all those movies. Even the first Godzilla, Skull Island, King of the Monsters was pinnacle.
That was good.
Yeah, and then
the King Ghidorah they did in that was so good.
Yeah.
The weather effects and everything. It was so well done. Perfect. I really loved that King Ghidorah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. It seems like the silliness is escalating a little bit. Little baby Kong. Yeah. Then they brought back the guy who was in the first one, the black guy. I can't think of the actor's name, but he was annoying in the first one, so it wasn't a good sign for me to see him come back. But
the conspiracy theorist guy?
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah. I forget his name too.
And he's in Eternals too.
Bernard or something.
Yeah, he's turning into a bad sign when I see him in a movie. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm definitely going to see that. Thank you for reminding me about Ghostbusters, because I did forget about that. But yeah, I think we've covered everything, Robert. We might be able to call it a night unless you have anything else you'd like to add, sir.
Not at the time, no. I think we've exhausted all of our news.
Yeah, yes, we did. So, computer's about to die. So let's wrap it up. This is Rob and Quincy. We're signing off from the Multiverse Podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you talk to you in a couple of weeks, maybe sooner.
All right, dynamic duo out.
Let's see here.